take care of them. And I think Manny, do we need security for that young lady at the bar, the screamer? Yeah, fuck me. Thank you. That's the kind of crowd I like. We might need to get you back here. We need that sort of energy. We got a great lineup for you tonight. Excited for all the comics, some of the best comics here in the Omaha scene. So, first of all, let's talk about this weather this week, guys. It is 80 degrees warmer tonight than it was last week. Feels so good outside. When I was getting dressed tonight, I actually had a tank top in my hand. I was thinking about going to tank. But as I thought more about it, I want you guys to really focus on my jokes and not my body. And far too often in my life, people focus just on my body. And I'm just tired of it. Like, you know how it is, Chloe. Like, it's just, it's just frustrating, So I went with sleeves and I just, I'm ready to just be known for my jokes tonight. So last time, if you were at the show last time, we had some tech issues to get things going. Deanna, you were there. A couple other people were there. And I got to tell you, nothing makes me feel more inadequate than tech issues. So let me tell you what I did, and I'm curious if you guys would have done anything different. So the mic wasn't working, house sound wasn't working. So what I did was I unplugged it, and then I plugged it back in. And once that didn't work, I was kind of fucked. I don't know what else to do in that situation. There's actually a closet down the hall here that has all the sound, and I actually kind of acted like I was back there like, oh man, what do we got here? It could have been a closet full of toilet paper for all I knew, but and I just couldn't figure it out. I felt so helpless and so stupid. My heart started beating. Luckily, one of the comedians who's actually here tonight, she had a speaker and a mic in her car, because that's what we do as comedians. We're ready to perform at any moment. So this situation, though, got me thinking about times in my life where I really feel inadequate. All right? The bedroom, obviously, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. Why are you nodding, young man? That's interesting. What have you heard? Have you been in the women's bathroom tonight? I just kind of move my hands and my hips a lot, and hopefully that works. As a father, pretty inadequate. Just recently, I was putting together something for my son, and I couldn't figure it out, and he said to me, man, I wish we knew someone strong enough to do this. And I was like, yeah, I do too. Yeah, it was harsh, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah.
As a stand-up, obviously I don't feel great about my performances, but there have been a couple things recently that have really struck in terms of inadequacy. I went and got an oil change recently. Anyone get an oil change? I know so little about cars. All I know is to put gas in it. That's really all I know. Speaking of that, my dad's here tonight, and last week I was thinking about him a lot. Did anyone else have a father who, if you didn't have your tank full during the winter, he chewed your ass like you murdered somebody? Yeah. Last week I got gas every single day just in case. Because I was like, oh God. My dad would move my car and he'd be like, God damn it, got half a tank of gas. What are you doing? I'm like, Dad, it's like 34 degrees. I think we're okay. So when I pull in to get an oil change, I have to talk myself up to like, okay, don't say yes to everything. Don't say yes to everything. But I can't argue with anything that they say. So I pull in, right, just a normal oil change. It says on the sign $19.99. Okay, great. He comes over to the side of the car first. He's got oil on his finger. He says, well, this is what your oil looks like. And I'm like, oh man, I don't know what that means. What am I looking at? He's like, well, you can't drive around like this. I'm like, absolutely not. It's like, I'd say we should probably do a full flush. I'm like, you're right, full flush. He's like, that's going to be $49.99. I'm like, get that fucking oil out of my car. That is terrible oil. So then he pulls the old filter. You guys know this one, right? Pulls a dirty filter out from behind the counter. This thing had a Cheeto in it. And I was like, ugh. And I remember psyching myself up, like, do not get the filter. Do not get the filter. This son of a bitch. I have a car seat in my car. My son is 6 years old. He goes, oh, I see you got kids. Wouldn't want them breathing this air, that's for sure. I'm like, all right, air filter it is, $39.99, right? Then he breaks out a new one on me. This one I've never heard. He goes, your battery's pretty dirty. I'm like, is that a thing? He goes, we're gonna have to get a scrub on that battery. That's $15.99. And I'm like, I don't know if I need that. He's like, winter is right around the corner. I'm like, you know what, you're right. Let's scrub that fucking battery. All in all, I spent $350. There were more lights on my dash on when I left than when I got there. Right? Just fucking maddening. So I just feel so stupid at those things. A couple weeks later, the water heater in the house goes down. So a guy comes over to fix it. When you have someone in your house working on it, do you guys feel the need that you have to like hang out near them. Like, he's working on the water here, and I'm thinking to myself, I could go upstairs and watch TV, I could take a shower, I could do whatever. I feel like I need to be in the room, standing over him, talking shop, right? My penis will not allow me to go upstairs and just go away from it. It's like, prove to him that you're a man. So I'm standing over him like, so what is it? A pilot, or was it a valve? What do you got, a valve there? He's like, well, I think it's a pilot. I'm like, yeah, I thought it might be the pilot. Let's go ahead and fix that. And I just am such a pussy about everything. And it's so disheartening. But as I thought more about my inadequacies, I think where I feel the most insecure is when I'm texting with my mother. So my mother's here tonight. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Eddie.
Yeah, give it up for my mom. Yes, yes. So my mother is the saint of a woman, and
Do you do shots?
without a doubt, the best human being I know. But you would never know that if you texted with her.
Not true.
Let me give you a couple of examples. So Saturday night, I go to a birthday party, met some lovely people, and my mom is babysitting, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll text you like when we're leaving. So it's about 8:45, and I text my mom, I say, hey, I'll pick my son up around 9:30. That's fine. So what do I think? That's not fine, right? No one has ever meant that's fine. And so I'm like, hey guys, I gotta go. Something's going on at home. I gotta get out of here, right? Everything was fine. But the text messaging is just so bad. A couple days later, I text, I say, hey, me and Bodie would love to come see you. Is that okay? Sure. Does anyone get excited about the word sure? Does anyone think that they're excited to you and she says sure? Right? Recently, a text went around like, hey, let's celebrate some March birthdays. Okay. I mean, this woman is so full of love, and her text messages are so full of hate. I really struggle with it.
I'm busy.
When I get done with a text exchange with my mom, I need a 6-second hug, and I need it to last. I just need to feel loved, because I just don't feel it. But Mom, I love you.
Yeah.
Regardless of what happens.
Are you March 6th?
So, one area where I've usually felt inadequate is relationships. This might surprise a lot of you, but I'm twice divorced. I know it's surprising, Chloe. You look really surprised. So, it's easy after a couple failures to feel a little inadequate in that area. But I'm actually excited. I'm in the best relationship I've ever been in. So, round of applause. Super excited about that. Yes, very exciting. He's a really great guy. Strong. You want to stand up and introduce yourself? So, I'm dating a woman, and she's actually a lawyer. Which I think is great. There's pros and cons, though, that I'm finding to dating lawyers. So let's start with the pros. I like to start positive. So the first pro of dating a lawyer, can you guess?
Money.
The money's nice. The money is nice. Now listen, I don't want you thinking I'm a gold digger or that I'm looking for a sugar mama. But my history is finding women who have thousands of dollars of debt and then taking that debt on, and then once it's paid off, they leave. And so it's just nice to have someone who picks up a check once in a while, owns an ATM card, things of that nature. It's just really, really nice. The other really nice thing about dating a lawyer is, when you go out for dinner, you get poor service anywhere, which you don't get at the Old Mill Lounge, by the way. Best bartender down. Give it up for Deanna James over here. So my experience is when I get poor service is I accept poor service and then I overtip. Right? I don't say anything about it. If I get the wrong meal, if I get the wrong drink, I'm just like, okay, you tried so hard, good for you, here's a 30% tip. Well, now that I'm dating a lawyer, she says something. Right? I'm getting free pie with almost every meal. Now that's not great here, but I'll tell you where it is great, right here. It fills me up. So now with the pros come some cons, right? When it comes to dating a lawyer, there are some cons. First and foremost, she's just so much smarter than me. And I know what you're thinking, that can't be that hard. But it's new for me. It's very new for me. The other thing is I'm dating a professional arguer. Now, I've never won a lot of arguments in my life anyway, but I am getting my ass kicked on a regular basis. She is ejecting, she's sustaining, she's having things read back to me. It is an ass kicking every time. It's like dating an argument ninja, and it's really demoralizing. But I think the worst part for me of dating a lawyer is the stenographer. She is there all the time. And what I've noticed is that she does not leave during moments of intimacy. Now, I don't know if you know this, but do you know that stenographers also keep time? That's That's not great for me. The other night she reads back, she says, 9:08, are you ready, baby? 9:10, that was amazing. I'm like, are you sure your watch is working? Because that felt a lot longer than 2 minutes. That felt like 4 to 5 at least. There's got to be a murder trial she can go work at some point, right? But, you know, it is exciting to be in a great relationship. She's right here. You guys give it up for Tanya. She's amazing. She lets me tell jokes about our relationship, and that's great. You know, being in a relationship, you know, I hear about these people who have open relationships, and I'm just like, I know some guys probably get excited about that. Like, oh, man, yeah, you can go, you know, sample some things. The idea of disappointing more than one woman just feels like I am really bad at this with one person. Can you imagine doing it with multiple people? So, yeah, I don't know if I can do that. So, speaking of open relationships, we have a great show for you tonight. We have some great comics tonight, and one of our first comics, it was one of the first comics I met on the scene here. Last year she won Clash of the Comics for the whole year at Funny Bone. She's one of the funniest comics I've ever seen. You guys give it up for Lauren Vanna.